northern Atlantic, where it could develop into maybe a subtropical storm. As for temperatures right now across the Northeast, generally very cool. Raining right now in Portland and also in Boston. New York right now is sitting at 60 degrees under cloudy skies, but that rain is moving back into the area as we speak. Dew points are may seem a little dry, but they're actually very relatively close to the actual temperature, so it's very moist out there, as you can see with the rain. There's that heavy band of rain working its way across Long Island right now, sliding back towards the New York City area, so that rain is not over yet. There'll be maybe 1 to 2 more inches of rain to come throughout the night, so definitely not out of the woods there. And that rain is extending back into upstate New York as well, up near Syracuse and Buffalo as well, so those areas are even getting onto this coastal storm as well. On the feature radar, there it is spinning away off the coast of Long Island, bringing that heavy rain overnight tonight. It'll clear out by tomorrow morning, where and then it spins off into the North Atlantic, where it could, as I said, develop into potentially a subtropical storm as well. As for flash flooding, that is definitely an issue with all the rain we've had, and there are also flash flood watches and warnings up as well. And make sure you secure loose objects with those high winds out there. And as for the rain, definitely very heavy as well, so make sure you are staying safe out there. And there are the headlines for the nor'easter. And now I'm going to hang things back off to Aaron.
That is right. As we look at our hurricane center, or looking at our tropics across the Atlantic, we will see actually possible of development actually in the northern Atlantic with this area right here, with that new nor'easter that is bringing that rain across the area. But you can see pretty much across the Atlantic, it's fairly quiet, as we do have a lot of dry air in place. But that's the nor'easter I was telling you about right up here, bringing that rain across the New England area. And there is a little bit of dry air behind that, and that's partially what's kind of prohibiting some development across the main area in the tropics. And our sea surface temperatures are still pretty warm, or really 80 across much of the area. You can see pretty high amounts as we get in towards the Caribbean, but like I said, that drier air is still kind of taking its place and not preventing any development across the area. And this is NVEST 94L. You can see that low pressure air just off of New England, bringing very, very heavy winds and rain across the area of New York, into Boston and places in Massachusetts. Very, very windy and rainy, not great conditions today. We do have a 40% chance of actually development by the National Hurricane Center, as it does kind of pivot its way in the North Atlantic. So definitely something to monitor. But it will probably develop into a subtropical storm. As I mentioned, those temperatures across much of the Atlantic are very, very cool in this area, and so we'll probably have a subtropical storm, which means most of the convection will be displaced from the center of the low. And if you're counting down the names on the list, we have one more name left. We have Wanda right down there. That is the last name of the regular hurricane season names, and then we get into an auxiliary list if we do go beyond Wanda. Our Gulf of Mexico, very, very quiet. We do have some convection down towards Cuba and Mexico, but nothing of concern. Again, the dry air limiting the development. And over towards Central America, across the Caribbean, very, very quiet. We have a few storms there into Central America, down towards Panama, perhaps a few convective storms, but again, moving off to the Pacific and away from the Atlantic. And again, the Caribbean, you can see there are sea storms that are forming over towards Cuba, nothing over Hispaniola or Puerto Rico. So very, very nice conditions if you're taking a vacation down there. Should be nice and fairly pleasant. Water vapor, you can see, as I was mentioning, that drier air across much of the area. You can see that's kind of where that remnant cold front is that came through Florida this morning. So bringing bringing moist conditions across that area. So very, very nice conditions as we go really across the Atlantic. Nothing to watch. So and
that's right. It's definitely a good thing to see with those quiet tropics this time of year. There have been some historical storms this time of year, most recently Sandy back in 2012. But a little bit closer to home, looking right now over Del Campo Stadium, not a cloud in the sky. What a beautiful sight. That sun is setting within the next hour or so. 77 right now and mostly sunny. As for the temperature almanac this time of year, Generally, we're sitting at about 80 degrees today, with generally our average is around 79, so a touch warmer than average. We'll get back down to right around average tomorrow, but thankfully nowhere near our records of 90 and 33 set back in 1931 and 2005, respectively. Hour by hour today, we started out nice and comfy in the mid-60s this morning, when we worked our way up towards that 80-degree mark by the time we got to 4 p.m. today. So it's definitely been a nice, comfy day out there, thanks to those lower dew points that cold front gave us. Currently, right now, 77 in Tallahassee, 75 in Monticello, 75 in Quincy. So generally very comfortable out there, maybe a little bit warmer down the coast at 78 in Crawfordville and Sumatra, and 81 in St. Mark's. As I said, those dew points are nice and comfy for this time of the year. 52 in Tallahassee, 47 up in Donaldsonville. So very dry air has worked its way into our region, which is definitely very comfy outside. So it's a good day to get outside and walk around. Something that I have not done today, but don't listen to me. Definitely a great day to get outside and walk around. Maybe even eat dinner outside tonight. And we won't have any threat of rain for the next day or so. Local radar not showing anything in the way of rain, which is definitely a good thing. As for the future radar, there are some clouds still working overnight tonight. None of those will be bearing any rain, which is a good thing. And tomorrow will be also a little more cloudier than today, so not as picture perfect as today, but very nice nonetheless. As for tonight, 54 in Tallahassee, 58 in St. Mark's, so a little bit warmer down the shore with that marine influence, bringing that more warmer air off the water. But generally a nice night out there, mid-50s generally around the area. As for tomorrow, right about average for this time of the year, 79 in Tallahassee. Like I said, maybe a little bit cloudier than today, so that'll be a noticeable change. But other than that, conditions will remain pretty much the same as we go through tomorrow. If you're thinking about walking your dogs tomorrow morning, it's definitely a nice morning to do that. Nice and comfy at 57 at 9 a.m. But we will get a little bit warmer, but it's still very comfy outside, 77 by the time we get to 3 o'clock. And as for the week ahead, generally very nice conditions. We do have a threat of rain on Thursday, but that's a cold front that will bring our temperatures back down. Look at the weekend, 67 on Friday. So definitely very comfortable outside, and those fall conditions will be persisting as we go throughout the week.
That's right. As we broaden our view across the Sunshine State, the name really holds its name. You can see very sunny conditions across the entire region. You can see Panama City, very, very nice sunset. Gainesville, really, really nice. And then over towards Miami, you can see the sun over there. And then Orlando, very, very dry conditions across the area. And our current temperatures, you can see pretty much 70s and 80s across the board. Maybe a touch warmer or humid, as we get down towards southern Florida. That's yet, of course, where those more drier conditions are still yet to come. But across much of the I-10 corridor, you can see pretty much 77 Tallahassee, 77 Jacksonville, and then down towards the I-4 corridor, 82 Tampa and 83 Orlando. And then as we make our way down towards South Florida, you can see our double eights for West Palm Beach and Miami. Our upper level water vapor, you can see pretty much that's the dry conditions I was mentioning about. We do see the upper level moisture coming in from the west, and that'll be ahead of our next system coming in on Thursday. That actually has the chance of bringing in some severe weather across the area. But that's radar shows nothing on there. You can see, might see a few showers down towards the Keys in Miami, and then really nothing significant or really organized at all across the area. If you're taking a closer look at those showers across South Florida, you can see the little shower down towards Florida Bay right there, and then into the Keys as we go towards South Florida. In our future radar across the state, you can see very, very clear conditions across the area. That's that cold front I was mentioning. That will bring the severe weather, looks like, into the Panhandle on Thursday morning, and then into the rest of the state as we get into the later part of Thursday. So definitely something to keep a watch out if you are going to with conditions deteriorating throughout the day on Thursday. And that's the severe weather that I was mentioning. You can see the slight risk tomorrow from about, let's say, Panama City over towards the western central Gulf of Mexico. So tomorrow won't really be the day for much of Florida, but that will be on Thursday. And this is a Thursday severe weather potential. You can see a slight risk pretty much for north central Florida from about the I-4 up to about I-10. So places like Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, might see some conditions deteriorating. And across the Sunshine State, you can see Miami 80s across the area. Same thing for Tampa, Orlando in the 80s, Jacksonville upper 70s to low 70s as we get to the rest of the week, and then Pensacola into the mid 70s. Tonight's lows, you can see pretty much 50s across the board, 70s as you work your way down towards South Florida. And as we look at tomorrow's forecast, very, very nice, pleasant conditions across the state. So very, very nice across the entire region. And as we transition into our severe weather segment, you could see pretty much that's the area I was mentioning, but that will develop across the Central Plains. You can see our cold front attached to that extends all the way down into Mexico, and there's that warm front. So that actually will bring a little bit of warmer air as we get into tomorrow, and that's what that upper level moisture was coming in from as it starts to pull a lot of the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And that's what I was mentioning here. You can see all the upper level moistures will be in place for that severe weather potential as we get into the central western and central Gulf of Mexico as we get into tomorrow. So places like Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, maybe even into Texas might need to watch out for a slight risk of severe weather. And for the next 48 hours, you can see that low pressure developing right off into Oklahoma. You can see that line, squall line, potentially all the way down towards Louisiana and pushing its way off to the east into Florida. And that's that cold front I was mentioning that will make its way and impact our weather really Thursday, and then bringing us nice colder weather as we get into the rest of your weekend. Our tornado potential, you can see that does extend off to the east. It is a very low threat, but the highest threat will probably be over the central Gulf of Mexico, but certainly the threat is still there. So certainly a nice time to say that you might want to look or pay attention to your local weather forecast office to see if they do issue any tornado warnings in case that is issued for your immediate area, and take precautions if so. Today, that severe weather potential, as that low pressure does develop, you can see pretty much across the central or north central Texas, so places like Dallas, Fort Worth, maybe into Oklahoma City, and then up towards central Kansas will have the risk for some severe weather. Today, as that low pressure area does start to pull its way from the mountains, and then of course tomorrow, you can see that severe weather threat across the western central Gulf of Mexico, and then of course that pushes off to the east as we get into Thursday, bringing us that cold front and severe weather potential into Thursday.
That's right. Thank you for that severe weather update, Aaron. And now I'm going to take you guys around the country at our national forecast. Boy, is there a lot going on right now. First of all, we have our nor'easter spinning away up in the off the coast of the Northeast, and we also have a little bit of a snowmaker out west, and we have, of course, the remnants of our atmospheric river on the western coast. Generally around the country, there's the severe weather potential we have existing in Texas, working its way into Oklahoma. There are the colder temperatures associated with that wintry weather in the Rockies, and of course we have our temperatures sitting in the mid to upper 50s associated with that nor'easter spinning away off the coast of New England. And there is the nor'easter spinning off the coast of New England. They'll be bringing some heavy rain and strong winds overnight again tonight, as it has been the whole day today. So definitely want to make sure you're taking cover there. And there's, as Aaron said, that existing water vapor that will provide the spark for the severe weather that we'll experience tonight across the central part of the country, and it'll work its way east as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. Dew points right now, there is that next cold front. It's very noticeable, that cutoff between the moist and dry air. Very dry out west where they're having a persisting drought that they need some help with out there. But that cold front will be working its way towards the east, bringing those drier dew points eastward into places like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and eventually Florida by the time we get to the end of this week. And as we look at the northeast, back at our nor'easter, there's that rain swinging back this way. New York was just in a little bit of a break, but it looks like that heavier rain band has worked its way across Long Island and is now affecting parts of the city. And that rain will continue to persist as we go out throughout the night tonight, bring another inch or two of rain. So definitely want to make sure that you don't, if you encounter any floodwaters, turn around and don't drown. Make sure that you're staying safe out there, because flash flooding is definitely going to be an issue with this as we go out throughout the night tonight. So definitely stay safe out there. And we do have that rain extending back into places like Albany, even into central Pennsylvania, places like Williamsport, and even towards the Great Lakes. Look at that. It's extending all the way into Buffalo. Usually we don't see that with this type of coastal system, but that rain shield is definitely covering most of the interior northeast right now, which is very impressive to see. As the future radar, you can see the system spinning away off the coast of New England, off the coast of Cape Cod, bringing that rain throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow morning, but it will eventually end tomorrow morning, maybe even clearing out the clouds almost entirely by the time we get to tomorrow evening. So maybe we'll be able to salvage tomorrow evening at least. As for the rainfall forecast, you can see that little bullseye off in eastern Massachusetts. That could bring another 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain to that area. So definitely want to make sure that you are not driving through any floodwaters. Again, I know I emphasize that a lot, but that is definitely something you need to pay attention to and not run the risk of doing, because that is very dangerous if you do that. But we don't have any existing drought, of course, because of that nor'easter in the northeast, and that's true for much of the eastern half of the country, but we always have that persisting drought out west. But that atmospheric river did help us a little bit with that drought, and it's continuing to do so. That snowmaker out west is continuing to help us out with that drought. Same thing up in the northwest, so hopefully that will continue to provide some relief. As for the future rainfall in the west, we do have some very heavy rain up in the extreme northwest, maybe even 3 to 5 inches of rain up just north of Seattle, so that'll help with some of the drought there. Same thing with the snowmaker in the Rockies. That should definitely help with their drought, and that could help out with the snow cover. This time of the year, we definitely do start to see that snow cover fill in the western part of the country. We do have it already 1 to 2 feet in the Sierra Nevadas right now, so definitely something we would like to see this time of year is that snow. Very quiet across much of the southeast, but that will be changing over the next 48 hours with that cold front bringing that severe weather to places in Oklahoma City, Texas, and also working its way down to the southeast as we get into Wednesday night and Thursday, reaching all the way down to places like Orlando and Tampa by the time we get to Thursday evening. Here's that severe weather potential for today. Enhanced risk for Oklahoma and parts of Texas, so that's definitely something to watch. As for tomorrow, that threat exists for the Gulf Coast. And here's for tonight, temperatures around the country. And also, I'm going to hand things off to Aaron for the next segment.
That is right. You can see tomorrow's high is very comfortable across the nation as well. And as we bring things a little bit closer to home, you can see our local segment. You can see a live look at Doak Campbell Stadium. Very, very nice conditions, 77 degrees across the area. You can see very, very nice conditions across the area. You can see 77 degrees as the current temperature across Doak Campbell Stadium. And again, a very, very beautiful sunset looks like to appear likely across the area. Our temperature almanac, you can see today we hit a high of 80 degrees, but very, very comfortable across the area. We had a low of 62 today, so it definitely felt a little bit nicer this morning, but our average, not really compared to our average high and low temperature. You can see 79 degrees is our average high, which is pretty close, and then our low temperature at 54 degrees, but nowhere near the record high of 90 set back in 1931 or our record low of 33 in 2005. Our current local temperatures across the area, very, very nice conditions. Low 70s across the Big Bend, even some upper 60s as we get in towards Georgia. You can see 67 over towards Thomasville and 69 over in Valdosta. So very, very nice conditions outside, and those will persist throughout much of the evening in the area. And our current dew points, you can see 50s and even some 40s. We get up in towards the northwestern part of the viewing area. You can see 48 in Donaldsonville. Very, very nice conditions across the area. You can see pretty much, might be a little bit of more moisture around towards the coast where there is more influence from the Gulf of Mexico, but certainly nothing of huge importance. Across the state, dry. That's been the story today for much of the area. Again, maybe perhaps a shower or two down towards the Keys, but really nothing significant today. And we zoom in closer to our local area, you can see pretty much nothing. There's a little bit of ground clutter on the radar, but nothing at all to speak of today. Our future radar can pretty much shows, might see some filtered clouds across tonight into tomorrow. You can see maybe breaking in as we get the sun to come out. So nice conditions. Tonight in Tally, 52 degrees. So very, very cool compared to this morning. Partly cloudy conditions, and the winds will be very, very calm tonight. And tomorrow you can see 79 degrees and partly cloudy skies tomorrow. For our dog walk, you can see 50s and 70s across tomorrow, so very, very nice. And as we look at the week ahead, you can see pretty much 60s behind that cold front on Friday.
That's right. And I'm going to just take you guys quickly through a recap right now. We have that nor'easter again spinning its way across the northeast part of the country right now. There it is throwing its rain bands back towards the southern New England states and also my hometown of New York. And as for the flash flooding alerts, we do have that threat existing through the southern tier of New York with warnings in effect for places like Syracuse. And also make sure that you secure any loose items outside with those high wind watches and warnings in effect for coastal New England. There's that severe weather threat for today. We have that enhanced risk stretching down from Oklahoma into Texas. That will develop later this evening and last throughout tonight and work its way eastward for tomorrow, where that threat exists for the Gulf Coast states of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and the extreme western portion of the panhandle of Florida. Here are tomorrow's highs. Generally nice day around the country with that nor'easter clearing out, and we do have that snow in the west as well. Now I'm going to hand things off to Aaron for the last local look.
Yep, as we wrap up the Tuesday edition tonight, you can see with our local close, very pleasant conditions across much of the area tonight as we have 70s right now around the area. You can see 77 degrees under very, very nice sunny skies. You can see the sunset will be very nice behind Bill Campbell Stadium. And local temperatures, you can see pretty much 70s across the board, even some 60s up into Georgia. So very comfortable night tonight. Our radar pretty much shows really quiet conditions across the area. So nothing to speak of. If you zoom in a bit closer to Tallahassee, really nothing at all. And that'll probably pretty much persist throughout the next really day or so until we have that cold front coming in on Thursday. Our future radar, filter cloudiness. We may see some clouds coming in from the west, but really nothing significant, no rain at all. And of course, that rain will come in on Thursday with that cold front. And then 50s across the area, mid-50s in Tallahassee. You can see 54 in Tallahassee, 54 as well in Monticello, 53 in Valdosta over towards the northeast. For tomorrow's forecast, you can see pretty much upper 70s region-wide, maybe a little bit cool down towards the coast, but very, very nice, pleasant conditions. And as we look at our week ahead, you can see pretty much 60 as we get down towards the weekend, as we do have that cold front that'll be making its way towards the area. So very, very nice week ahead.
That's right. Thank you for that last local look, Aaron. We've really had a lot to talk about today. There's a lot going on around the country with that nor'easter in the northeast, the atmospheric river dwindling out west, the snowmaker in the Rockies, and very nice conditions around here.
That's right. With the really until Thursdays when we start seeing that cold front coming in into our area. But until then, enjoy the conditions as they do deteriorate into Thursday with the chance of some severe weather. So certainly something to keep in mind as we do get into Thursday. So if you follow us on Twitter, you can see www.twitter.com/FSU weather. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather. And if you're not watching us live on YouTube, then watch us live next time on youtube.com/FSU weather. And again, follow us on Instagram at FSU weather for more information on FSU weather. And that wraps up tonight for the FSU show.
That's right. Make sure you guys are watching us all the time to be weather aware, especially as we go into our this period of potential severe weather for Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure you're tuning into us and keeping up with the National Weather Service offices as well to get your information out at a good time. So that's it for this Tuesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Evan O'Regan.
I'm student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
Have a good night, you guys. Stay safe.